Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Neelam goes to Malishka's house and bring Malishka to the Oberoi house as Rishi's wife after Rishi and Lakshmi left the house. So Rishi and Lakshmi's new life started in an uncompleted building. So let's continue from there. In the morning, Lakshmi wakes up in their uncompleted house and she looks for Rishi. She says, where did Rishi go when he couldn't sleep in the night? She finds Rishi at the other side near her and says Rishi might be blowing some air to me in the night and he fall asleep sitting down. She thinks to call Shallow and asks her to get some kitchen stuff and also clothes and send their house address to her. Grandma sees Neelam in the in-house temple with Malishka. Neelam says, like you taught me, I am teaching Malishka what the Oberoi family daughter-in-law routine is. Neelam says she has taught Malishka how to make prasad and says, I used to do puja with you when I became your daughter-in-law, so Malishka will do the puja with you from now onward. And she asks Malishka to pray for Rishi. Neelam asks Malishka to do the aarti and they all do the aarti together and Malishka is happy. Bani and Shallow are leaving from the house to buy some kitchen items and take them to Lakshmi's new house. Ranu asks that where are they taking all the stuff to? Shallow says we are taking breakfast and other things for our sister and brother-in-law and Ranu is shocked. Rano says to Shallow and Bani that she is waiting for them to serve breakfast and they are busy taking breakfast for Rishi and Lakshmi and she scolds them, but then she thinks that Rishi is rich and she will benefit from him, so she thinks not to say anything bad about Rishi. Ranu asks Shallow and Bani to call Rishi and Lakshmi to her house and says Rishi should not have any problem and she goes. Bani says for our aunt, money is bigger. Shallow asks Bani to reduce her voice and says aunt might hear us and she tells her that their aunt is right, that they should call Rishi and Lakshmi to stay with them. Karishma asks Neelam that how are we going to bring Rishi back home? Neelam tells Karishma that she will bring Rishi back home very soon because she cannot see Rishi in poverty and trouble. Neelam says Rishi will live his life and destiny here with Malishka and says Rishi and Malishka will get married. Neelam says to Karishma that when everyone comes for breakfast, then call me. I am going to make an important announcement which nobody could ever think of. And Karishma thinks that what is Neelam up to? Lakshmi wakes Rishi up and says good morning. It is morning, so come out of your dreams. Rishi is shocked to see the house he slept in and he asks that how did I come here? He then remembers everything that happened and he feels relaxed. Lakshmi brought water bucket and says there is no water in the bathroom. Rishi says there is just roof and walls in this building and says basic things should have been put in place here. Lakshmi asks Rishi not to worry and says Kachi auntie, that is the Panipuri lady, said that it is an under construction building, so everything is still work in progress and says everything will be fine in some days. Rishi takes the bucket to the bathroom carelessly and some water falls down. Lakshmi says this way, all the water will fall down and you will not see any water to take your bath, and Rishi carefully takes the bucket. Lakshmi thinks to wipe the water on the floor, but Rishi comes there and sleeps stepping on the wet floor and he falls down. Lakshmi laughs at Rishi and Rishi holds Lakshmi's hand and makes her fall too and he also laughs. Lakshmi gets up and says I will never hold your hand again. Rishi says I am sorry and says if you don't hold my hand then I will die. Lakshmi keeps her hand on Rishi's mouth and says don't ever say something like this again. Rishi says you also have to promise me that you will not leave my hand, else I would open the window and jump out from there. Lakshmi says okay, I will never say this again too. And Rishi asks Lakshmi to hold his hand. Lakshmi holds Rishi's hand and Rishi smiles happily. At the Oberoi house, Malishka and Karishma comes to the dining table. Malishka says, what if nobody comes to eat because I came to the house? Karishma says, don't think like this. And she asks if she knows what sister-in-law Neelam is going to do and says Neelam is planning to do something big. Malishka asks that what is it? And Virendra, Grandma and Ayush comes there. Karishma asks Virendra about Neelam. Virendra says I don't know and says Neelam is not talking to me. Karishma says when the family members don't support her, then she is doing right by not talking to you. Virendra is about to answer Karishma, but Grandma stops Virendra and she asks Ayush to call Neelam, but Neelam comes there. Rishi asks Lakshmi that until when will I be in this clothes? Lakshmi says Shalu and Bani will bring some clothes. She says our house will be set soon. Until then, Rishi should adjust. Rishi says I will never adjust and says I want to live my life with you and says I can spend all my life here in this uncompleted building wearing this one cloth, and Lakshmi looks on. At the Oberoi house, Malishka says she doesn't know if Rishi has eaten or if he has gotten a home yet. Ayush says no need to worry and says Rishi got the home. Malishka asks, did you talk to Rishi? Virendra says I had talked to Rishi and he said that he has gotten a home, and he asks Malishka not to worry because Lakshmi is with him. Neelam says if anyone worries or not, but I want my son to return here, and Karishma thinks that sister-in-law Neelam wants to do a big announcement about Rishi. Lakshmi tells Rishi about a game and she runs behind Rishi to catch him. Rishi says you are not doing the up and catch. Lakshmi says it is Langdi and she hops on one leg to catch Rishi. Shalu and Bani comes there and they get happy to see Rishi and Lakshmi happy together. They greet Rishi and hug him and they thank Rishi for supporting their sister. Rishi asked Shalu and Bani not to worry and he promised them that he will give all the happiness in this world to Lakshmi. He asked them to thank Ayush on his behalf and says if Ayush had agreed on my sayings and not advised me, then he wouldn't have been with Lakshmi today. Shalu says she has brought food for them and Rishi says he is very hungry. At the Oberoi house, Virendra says Rishi is not a small kid to be brought back. Neelam says Rishi is my son and a mother keeps the evil reflection away from her son. Virendra says Lakshmi is not bad, you are only misunderstanding her. Neelam says she just wants her son to come back to the house and until Rishi returns to the house, then she, Neelam, will not eat any food or drink any water. Ayush shouted out, but Neelam stops him and everyone is shocked at Neelam's decision. At the dining table in the Oberoi house, Neelam tells the family members that she will not eat or drink anything until Rishi comes home. The Oberoi family is shocked to hear this. The family members try to talk to her, but Neelam announces to her family that she is not going to change her decision and all she wants is for Rishi to come back. At the uncompleted building, Rishi happily enjoys the food brought by Shalu and Bani, and he asks Shalu and Bani and Lakshmi to eat the food too and says it is too good. Shalu and Bani says they brought clothes for them. Rishi asks Lakshmi to eat from his hand and Lakshmi eats from Rishi's hand, and Lakshmi also feed Rishi and they happily feed each other. Rishi mistakenly bites Lakshmi's finger while she was feeding him and he quickly says sorry and he cares for her by blowing on her finger. Shalu and Bani feels happy seeing the love and care between Rishi and Lakshmi and they smiles looking at them. At the Oberoi house, Neelam leaves from the dining table. Virendra says Neelam has started a new drama. Karishma says it is the worry of a mother for her son and not a drama. Grandma asks Malishka to make Neelam eat food if she can, and Malishka agrees and she takes the food to Neelam's room. Karishma asks Virendra to end the matter by bringing Rishi back home and let peace reign. She says we know that Neelam will not stop her hunger strike until Rishi come back, so forget about Lakshmi and think about your family. Karishma says Rishi has to return for Neelam's sake and Karishma leaves from there. Virendra says if Neelam continues to behave like this and emotionally blackmail everyone, then she will lose Rishi forever. Shalu and Bani tells Lakshmi that Neelam brought Malishka home as her daughter-in-law and Lakshmi is shocked. Shalu says to Lakshmi that the one who is the wall between Rishi and her is Neelam and not Malishka. Bani tells Lakshmi that Neelam really ate her and she is strongly supporting Malishka. Shalu says to Lakshmi that this is the best time for her to get married to Rishi because nobody will come between them now, and Shalu asks Lakshmi to accept Rishi's love. Rishi comes out wearing a shirt that Shalu brought for him and Lakshmi, Shalu and Bani laughs at him because the shirt is bigger than him. Lakshmi tells Rishi that the shirt is big size and she asks him to change it. Rishi says he likes it, but if Lakshmi asks him to change it, then he will do so and he goes back to change. Malishka brings food to Neelam's room and thinks that this is a golden chance for her and she will pretend to be a good daughter-in-law now. Malishka asks Neelam not to punish herself for her sake and she requests Neelam to eat food. She says, I know that you are doing this for me so that Rishi can come home and get married to me, but please don't punish yourself for my sake, and she asks her to eat. Malishka says to Neelam that it is fine if Rishi doesn't marry me, but please you have to eat. Neelam asks Malishka not to blame herself and says she is doing this to bring Rishi back so that Rishi can go away from that unlucky girl Lakshmi, and she asks Malishka to see how Rishi will come back for her now, and Malishka agrees. Lakshmi asks Shalu if she brought the money she asked her to bring. Shalu says yes, and she gives Lakshmi the money, and Lakshmi says that she will use the money to buy the basic things they need in the house. Shalu offers to help Lakshmi with the stuff, but Lakshmi says that she will not buy everything at once so she can manage. Shalu still reminds Lakshmi that it is the right time for her to marry Rishi, and Lakshmi says that she can never be happy by separating Rishi and Neelam. Rishi comes there and asks Lakshmi to set his dress and get him dresses of his size, and Lakshmi says that she will buy the right size dresses for Rishi once she goes to the market. Shalu says to Lakshmi that she would accompany her to buy things that are needed for their house, but Lakshmi says that she will buy the things needed by herself. Lakshmi goes and Shalu and Bani follows her. Rishi thinks that Lakshmi is planning everything for their future, and he thinks of what he can do to help her. At the Oberoi house, Grandma worries thinking about the current situations. She thinks that Neelam is stubborn and she had refused to eat, and if Rishi comes back to the house with Lakshmi, then Neelam will not accept Lakshmi, and Rishi will not come back to the house without Lakshmi. Grandma thinks that Virendra went to meet Rishi, but she doesn't know if Rishi will come back or not. Lakshmi sets Rishi's button shirt with needle and thread, and she goes to return the needle and thread to their neighbor where she borrowed it from. Rishi thinks about what he needs to do to make money so that he can help Lakshmi. Virendra comes there and Rishi is shocked, but Virendra smiles looking at Rishi. Virendra hugs Rishi and he asks if this is the mansion he told him that they are living in. Rishi smiles and says yes, and Virendra says that he doesn't have any problem with the house as far as Rishi is happy. Rishi asks if Neelam is fine, and Virendra hesitates, but then he tells Rishi that his mom is on hunger strike so that he can return, and Rishi, Shalu and Bani are shocked. Kiran and Sonal are planning to go to the Oberoi house. Malishka calls Kiran and tells her that she has a good news, and she asks her to come to the Oberoi house to know the good news. Kiran asks Malishka to say the good news, but Malishka refused, so Kiran says that she is coming and she ends the call. Malishka is happy, and she says that her mom will be happy to hear the good news. Kiran tells Sonal that she doesn't know the good news that Malishka is talking about, and even the good news might not be good news because Malishka sometimes doesn't have brain. Sonal asks Kiran not to say that and says that Malishka is deeply in love with Rishi and she is crazy about him, and they leave for the Oberoi's house while Malishka waits for Rishi's return and she gets happy. Virendra tells Rishi that he is not understanding what he has to do, and Bani and Shalu discuss that Neelam going on hunger strike is all Neelam's plan to separate Lakshmi and Rishi. Virendra asks Rishi to decide on what he has to do and says he will never force him to do anything. Lakshmi comes there and she hugs Virendra and she asks that how is he. Virendra says how will he be when Lakshmi was not in the house, and says he gets sad every day without them, so he came to see how they are. Lakshmi asks if everyone is fine at home, and Virendra reluctantly nods that yes. Lakshmi asks Virendra if Neelam is fine, and Virendra hides the truth and says you can never change and you care for everyone. He says Neelam throws you away from the house, but you care for her. Lakshmi says she considered Neelam as her mother, but Neelam doesn't consider her as a daughter, and she asks if Neelam is fine. Shalu thinks that Lakshmi will send Rishi back home if she hears about Neelam's hunger strike, and that way, Rishi and Lakshmi will not get married, and Shalu gets sad. Lakshmi asks Virendra about Neelam's condition again, but Virendra couldn't tell her the truth, so Virendra and Rishi looks at each other in shock. Okay guys, thank you so much guys for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a like, share it, and I will see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.